Okay, so Hive and I will be starting a new series together where we talk about history and some stuff, I guess. So, for this first time trying, Harith said that he wants to try some. He gave a topic called Unification of Korea. Okay, Harith is gonna talk about unification of Korea, like what will happen if it's unified, all the stuff, and yeah, he just did just now. Okay, so Harith, your opening statement, please.
So, what I can say about the unification of Korea is something interesting that because one of my friend recently asked me an interesting question: what happened when the North Korea and South Korea unified? It is a pretty interesting question because according to my friend who is a student of international relation, did mention that the unification of South Korea and North Korea is a rare topic even among the international relations student. But for some people, indeed, it is an interesting question, an interesting scenario that we could imagine what would be and what how the world will react if the two Korea, the North and the South unified. So basis of the Korean unification, we must look at the history of Korea itself. As we all know, uh, before the World War II, there is a war between the Korean government and the Japan government that has transformed the Korean government into the puppet of the Japan. Since then, the Korea is under the Japanese rule until the end of the World War II, where during the nearly end of the World War II, Soviet Union have invaded Manchuria and advanced through the area and head to the peninsula of Korea. A part of the Potsdam and Yalta Agreement between the three major powers during the war have agreed that Korea will be divided into two. The north one will be given to the USSR, while the southern one will be given the US. And
That's interesting.
that's how the Korea divide into two. The North Korea led by the communist government and the South Korea led by democratic government.
So basically, it's divided because of the past. Like it's not divided because of Korea themselves, but because of outer country factor. Is it?
Yes,
Uh,
yes, indeed.
mm,
So it went well the first few years until
okay.
where the relation between the two became bad and triggered the all-out war between two. Going for 2 years from 1950 to 1952 and end up the treaty
Oh,
where
basically when they
treaty is
sorry when they fought, basically is USSR versus the who took the south again. I forgot. I didn't.
yes,
Ah,
well, yes, but actually no. Korean War is one forgotten war, but interesting to study because this is the first proxy war conducted during the Cold War era. North Korea, it is a communist government, and is it backed up more by China instead of Soviet Union. Soviet Union did help the North Korea during the war, but only the support, personal support, and providing some war material. While the China is the actual who back up the North Korean government during the war. Meanwhile, the South is backed up by the US and United Nations. And Korean War can alternately call as the police action or first United Nations intervention in the war.
So even that time also still
Anything?
United Nations try to solve it, but they still fail lah. But they in the end they made peace, right? They made a treaty, right? But the treaty is not between South and North Korea, right? It's between the faction that controlled them, right? Not Korea themselves.
Yes.
Is this during
War
Kim Jong Il's moment or no? Or was it before?
Jong Il moment.
Ah,
Until now, the North Korea and South Korea technically still at war. There is no peace between them. That's why every time there is military incursion between two, nobody can actually intervene, and nobody can really condemn because they technically still at war.
mm. Even right now,
Uh,
actually, although the media portrays how North and South Korea is, but still there are more things behind the scenes, right? That I mean, they portray. I mean, I'm not gonna go too deep into it before anything happens, but either way, both countries have something behind their back, right? That they're doing behind the strings, right?
yes. So basically, what if South Korea and North Korea decide to end their rivalry and unite? Is the question of today.
Mm. So you want me to give my opinion on that? Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so my opinion on that. Interesting question. Okay, so the first is that Korea will be a very, I want to say, successful country, but what's the other term for it? Like, they will be a powerhouse because South Korea have the resources, North Korea have the weapons. So no one can mess with them. Like they themselves are strong enough. They don't need any alliance if any war breaks out. But the side effect is that I don't think that the North Koreans and the South Koreans would be close right away. It might take generations before the the government can be at peace, but it takes time before the citizens will make a treaty between themselves. Wait, did I word that correct? I think you understand what I mean, right?
Yes. So you are saying the powerhouse of the Korea. Yes, indeed. One of my point is if the unification of the North and South Korea happen, it will be another regional power in the area. We already have the Russian Federation at the north, or already have the China at the west. The west and in the east, we got the Japan and United States.
Yes, it's true.
And in the south, we got Nam Asian, if Asian actually unite.
Oh, all
So
of them. Okay, yeah, that's true.
all of Asian countries. So basically, if the North and South Korea unite, there will be a new powerhouse, will be new regional power. Just like you say, the South have economic power, and the North have the military power. That's true. it will balance out the development of both country. It is important for for both nation stand as unified nation. Can look into the how the West German and East German unite.
Yeah,
Because
even when West German, East German unite, if I'm not mistaken, it was not that long ago. It was in the it was somewhere in the 90s, right? If I'm not mistaken,
it's 1990s.
1990s. If how I know that, because football World Cup itself, West Germany became Germany itself.
Yes,
But yeah, after but you bring an interesting point, because West and East Germany, when they combined, they didn't have any problem between them, right?
yes. Came from two different houses though. One communist side, one democracy side. So did the Korea North and the South one. So not impossible for both nations, the South and the North, to unify, just like the East and the West Germany did. But the problem is how the people will react, how the people inside and outside will react.
And it is a big factor, so that because the people can change how the country is, right? Like how they.
You can see the problem the unified German is the West Germany did view the East Germany as inferior compared to them.
Mhm.
Why?
Um, the East view the West as inferior, because I think maybe because the people in the East are more noble, are more rich. Is that why? Or they have more economic power, like crop, like their farming and all, then their technology. Is that right?
Indeed, because in the early day of the unification of Germany, the German, the East German did view the East German as inferior because the East Germany stealing what the job that supposedly belong to the West German. So this thing could happen during the unification of the South and North. As we know, the situation in the North is pretty bad compared to the South one. According to the news, the official news, we never know what inside the Hermit Kingdom did. Really, it better than the media portray. Really, it better than what we ever heard, ever see.
Because
You never know.
in the end, the media just show one side of the story. Unless you're really there, you don't really know. Right?
Yes. With the recent development, the diplomacy with the where the Korea, North Korea cut the diplomatic tie with the Malaysia, and previously there is an American citizen who have died after being tortured to death by the Korean government. We can deny the North Korea possibly what the George W. Bush called part of axis of evil.
Part of axis of evil.
Yes. Axis of evil is a term used by the George W. Bush during the declaration of war on terrorism, designate the country that are supporting the terrorism. That time, Libya, Iraq, Korea, Cuba, and I don't remember much.
Wait,
But
even Korea as well that time. Bush even tried to war with Korea at that time.
no, just simply designate those nations as the terrorist sponsor.
Oh, okay. Understand.
Doesn't need it doesn't necessarily to be technical war, but technically to be in war, but just simply to designate them as the bad person. It's just like you telling this guy is dangerous, don't be friend with him, something like that.
But in the end of the day, it's like it's coming out from only one person's mouth, but you don't in the end you don't go friends with him, so you don't really know that is he really a good or bad person, right?
Yes,
Bush with his mind games.
we are living in internet age, information age, to be exact. There is no border of the media.
That's true.
You can get the information through the official media. You can get from the unofficial media, but be prepared to what the right one and what the wrong one.
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes some people are confused as well. How do you know the right one from the wrong one? For me personally, I try to check a lot of sources and see which one is like the most logical.
Yes, that is the one of the possible way to identify which is the fact, which is the fix. So back the our topic. So basically, if the North Korea and South Korea back unify as a nation, it will be the new regional power in the Asia. But it's a question: how the international react?
Oh, okay. Because even the international also plays a role. So that means it's gonna be a big issue, not only with the country itself, but how the world view it, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. If that can be a problem because you have two sides, you know. What? Wait. Um, you have, yeah. Let's say for now you have two sides. One side is that they will say, oh, they finally made peace, and maybe we can make diplomacy with them, stuff, and maybe like trade or things like that, right? But the second, hmm, could be could be that the other country say maybe they unify because they want to start a war. So then it will be like a trigger for another war. Like they will start a war on Korea first, although Korea don't want to. The Korea don't want plan to war, but this as a safety precaution, like how, like what I say about Bush just now, like designated, right? They will designate Korea itself. For me, like,
Unification. The unification doesn't necessarily will lead to the war because if you see this integration itself doesn't lead to war. The unification of Germany,
oh yeah, that's true.
the unification of Germany doesn't lead to any war. Instead, viewed as a new age for the German people. This first story in the can where this integration when the country from Yugoslavia decide to form their own nation, is it indeed
Yugoslavia
trigger
is Slovenia, Slovakia, and such, right?
Serbia,
Serbia.
Bosnia? So basically, when the country in the Balkan disintegrate, that happened so many war. So
But but I think one of the reason because correct me if I'm wrong, because German don't have a like nuclear weapon, but Korea has one, right? So maybe it could be like different mentality at this age.
indeed. To to answer that, we must see how the reaction from the closest one. So we look at the closest neighbor, China. Indeed, China doesn't want to see the Korea unified, unless the Korea decide to sideline to them after the unification. Because the China see the North Korea as their buffer state against the United States. So if the China lose North Korea, mean she, the China, lose one of the first war against the United States in case of war.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
We look at the North, Russia Federation. Russia, in my opinion, probably doesn't give give a damn what happened in the Korea, since their intention, their main motive is more focused to the Europe and the Middle East. So they even if they want to intervene in the Korea affair, it will be limited intervention. Looking to the east, we have US and Japan. So how the Japan will react? Historically, Japan did invade Korea so many times. The Shogunate era, the World War One, World War Two.
That is why some Koreans until today they don't forgive Japan for what they've done, and some say that Japan is still continuing to do that to Korea, but I don't have sources on that yet lah.
So basically, Japan would, in my opinion, will have a mixed view. Some may support the unification, some will against the unification. At the unification of Korea, just like the China, favor the Japan and United States if Korea decide to sideline to the Japan and United States, because they will be the first sticker for the China or the Russia in case they want to attack the Japan or United States.
Yeah, because
But
there's a but. This is interesting.
But through the historical claim, like you say, the Japan but with their dream to not retake the North Korea, I don't think they will not give up. They may wait the opportunity take back Korea into the Japan map.
Yeah, that because if they do that, then they will get both the north and the south, right? So then they will have a more fortified defense and offense lah in case of a bigger war to come.
Yes, but I don't want to see yet another third, the Japan war.
That's true. Because now because they have won 2 times, so the third time, anything can happen in war. Anyone can win, but the odds favor Japan lah if they were to go to war again, right?
How the United States will react the unification of Korea.
They will start propaganda, right? And they will start to invade.
Not really. Not really. That is possible, but we know Korea have their own nuclear. Possibly have their own nuclear weapon. Quite verified, but I decide to play safe. But I would boldly say probably have nuclear weapon. So basically, nuclear weapon would be a deterrent bargaining chip the Korea to defend itself. If the Korea decide to sideline with decide whether China, Russia, or US
Mm.
nation Korea sideline will have benefit in nuclear capability. So
That's
Japan have the nuclear capability. It just have for industrial, not the weapon capability.
uh, wait.
We're talking about nuclear weapon capability.
If you that is correct. I forgot about that. So remember that's why I said the odds favor Japan. I take that back. It's anyone's. The odds can favor anyone lah. If yeah, the odds can favor anyone. So can but one thing for sure is gonna be a kind of a terrible war, a big war lah. If that were to happen.
Yes, I will say that the Korea may have nuclear weapon. Technological may inferior compared to the Japan. Japan may possess better technology and better support than the Korea did. But don't think when during the unification, they going to start the yet another war in the Asia. Can afford that, especially when we are dealing with the nuclear weapon.
You have a point there. You have a very good, solid point there. And if that were to happen, like, we play safe and assume that they are gonna use nuclear, right?
Yes.
Then definitely the UN will get involved with the treaty thing, and then other countries will start to get involved as well.
Yes, Korea War 2.
Mm.
But with the current situation, I don't think the side would dare to any side would dare to wish yet another war in Korea.
Yes, it's true. Because Korea, is if they unite, then their military would be, I would say, the top 5 in the world if they unite.
Yes, indeed, because for your information, according to my friend, in 2020 statistic, North Korea is number one in term of navy.
The navy is. I know people like to say, airstrike is the most important asset in war. I mean the most effective, or the most important. So how to say, most important way to attack. But I think navy is much more dangerous because you cannot really detect them that easily, and they can easily just like send in spies and things like that. Mm. Oh, so the North ranked number 1 in navy. That's interesting to know.
Really interesting to say. Aside of the navy, they also possess not was it 100,000
What?
possess possibly millions of enemies ready for the fight.
100,000 of what?
Me soldier.
Oh, soldier.
Possess capability to wage yet another war against the South Korea. But worried with the situation and intervention for outside, they did not decide to declare the war yet. Despite the war already declared 70 years ago, there is minor intrusion and skirmish between the north and south, but what we can say it militarily important.
Basically, based on what I understand from what you're saying, it's already a war without the declaration of war. So that way, other countries cannot get involved because it's not official, but it's already happening.
Yes. So that's why the DMZ, the demilitarized zone that divide between the north and the south, firefight is constantly happen. Sometimes sniper from the south are shooting the north counter attack with their sniper. Sometimes they are skirmish with the artillery. Sometimes they skirmish the firefight.
Yeah, I
In
remember
beyond that,
that day that they tried like the new missile and the grenade site to the south, at the border.
yes,
That's interesting.
nothing much. But what I can say depend. Question now is how to make the north and south unified.
Then if
There, that is interesting question
if
because now there are the friend armistice agreement signed where there is various deal signed by both sides. Even I forgot the sunshine policy if I'm not wrong. We help the both side to reconcile between each other, but either side decide to end the war yet.
I see. So the thing is already there, but they just want to prolong it lah.
Yes.
But why?
But that so that I cannot answer. Is if you want to get the answer, you can possibly ask the Korean itself. Even the international relations student cannot answer. Why?
It's something that only they themselves know, that the public don't know.
Yes, with various attempt to reconcile, but either side decide to stand down and end the war entirely. It's already 70-year war.
This 70 years.
Today, Arab tribe.
Yeah, that's really sad because it's really, it's like
Yeah.
it's because the main factor starts from other countries, right? And then because of other countries, now their country is like that.
There is various declaration. There is various attempt by the party from outside and inside the Korea itself. Still, Korea was divided. Will we see the Korea unite? The end of the world? No, that's far too long.
For too long. But for me personally, I think the one of the only ways that they can reunite is that if both the north and the south share a common goal, or in terms of war, a common enemy.
Yes, it's one way. We want to go for the hard way. The side must declare war against the other and must capitulate the other.
Yes, that's
Fully, he doesn't get himself capitulated.
that's the old way of reuniting, but it's still happening actually, right?
Yes. Indeed, is it?
So there's no matter whether no, mat- no matter like whether it reunite or not, there's still the side effect, right? The good and the bad. But
Yes.
if they unify and they become like Germany, it could be okay. But that's what I say lah. The only problem will be there'll be two problems. One with the citizen, but for me, I think that the citizen, the next generation onwards will be okay. The current generation will have problem,
Yes.
but other countries, that one will take more than 3-4 generations before they stop the propaganda. Because how many countries, like from the 60s 70s until today, they're still spreading propaganda and such to
Yes.
how do how what does the term called, divide and conquer.
One who say war never change is a fool.
One who said war never changed is a fool. Mm.
Yes. Because in every war, there is yet another new way to kill the son of the bitch.
Yeah.
Actually, is it a quote from Douglas MacArthur, if I'm not wrong?
Don't.
Prominent commander during the World War II and Korean War.
Oh, it's the same commander for both wars.
Yes.
Wow.
Should thank to the K-pop fans. Should thank to Douglas MacArthur, because without his effort, we may not see the South Korea.
Yeah. So, message to the K-pop fans: go search about uh how to spell his name.
Douglas MacArthur. Douglas MacArthur.
Dong, let's make it. Maybe later I just put a link or just put his name on the screen. Wait, if I put the link, then they can just click to watch, right? Might as well just put the name. Let them Google.
Yes. There is reason why he is important to the South Korea. Historically, during the Korean War at the full swing, United States and South Korea army are beaten very, very bad. Then to the point, they made a last stand, the point we call as Busan Line. Busan Line basically small military enclave that located at very south of the South Korea. This Douglas MacArthur mad boy decide to do a military maneuver, help the South Korea and the United States force the North Korea back to the North Korea territory.
Wow.
So basically, what he do is during the last stand at the Busan line, he ordered the United States Marine to land at the Incheon. Incheon basically to the Seoul. So basically, during the assault on the Incheon, the North Korea army have to divert the forces to protect the Incheon, the marine assault. But eventually, stop the United States and South Korean army that trapped in the Busan line to push back, retake the Seoul, and even advance close to Yalu River, triggering the China to join the war.
that is that is an interesting maneuver, memes aside, because he do something to trigger another country to help you, like you turn the tides in your favor that way.
Actually, the China joined the North Korea side.
Okay. Oh, I sorry. They joined North Korea side, but still though, this Douglas he have the balls to do what he did lah.
Yes, he indeed have the ball.
Because to just like, because that time he crossed the border to force to get back the land, right? To do that is really really ballsy, but he succeeded. And even when another country joined the fight, he's he's he still succeeded as well. Douglas is under US, right? He's a US
Yes.
leader, right? Hmm.
He met that. He is real mad lad,
He's the real
dropping his men behind the enemy line to technically win, but basically divert the enemy from slaughtering his friend at the south.
I searched for Douglas MacArthur, and there's few things that made me interested about this guy. There's this one quote he said: "Duty, honor, country."
Yes, it's not wrong. It is one of the U.S. Army division motto. This one I don't remember.
Mm. Also, yeah, some of his quotes if you guys interested, because I'm a bit
At
interested.
your information, marine landing in the Incheon is not the first time he did the mad lad action.
Oh really? He did
Because during the World War II, uh,
Mm.
Japan almost get beaten in the war. He decided to land the marine forces in the Philippines.
That is why. That is why when you search for him, he
And
he
before
the
that, when the U.S. Army forced to leave the Philippines, the Japan, the MacArthur did say, "I will
I
back."
return.
And during the landing of the Marine, and as the MacArthur landing in the uh, at the Philippines to retake the Philippines from the Japan, he did say, "I am back."
Mm, wow. But to land in Philippines during the World War, and then I shall
Sorry,
return. I will return.
I will return. And when he came back, I have returned.
Oh, this guy is mad, but in a good way.
The mad lad.
So you can say that although he's under the US Army, he's a hero to the Philippines lah. Because he saved, he protected Philippines from Japan, right? In their, I think Japan conquered them for 3 years or something. Okay, I can only hear your voice. I can only hear your sounds. I can hear your voice. I think Harith has problem with his with his mic for a bit. But yeah, some of Douglas MacArthur's quotes.
Hey,
Oh, okay, you're back.
hear me, boy.
It's okay. Hey,
Yes,
so Douglas MacArthur is considered a hero for the Philippines, right?
yes,
And there's few of his quotes that I googled just now that I feel is really interesting lah. Like, in war there is no substitute for victory,
yes.
and it is fatal to enter any war without the will to win it.
It's either win or defeat.
Yeah, it's either win or defeat, and the stakes are high because if you die, if you're defeated, not only you will be defeated, but the whole country probably. The best luck of all is the luck you make for yourself.
Yes,
Oh, but the thing that I really like, there is no security on this earth. There is only opportunity. Yeah, based on all this, can see that he is a mad lad. He really is a mad lad.
indeed a mad lad. Be compare, there is yet another mad lad that also fought with him during the World War, but I forgot his name. Maybe I will search about him later.
Yeah, maybe that one we can include in our second episode.
Yes.
So, hi, you want to talk anything more about the unification of Korea?
Nothing much.
Nothing much, I say. So, want to make? We should make like a conclusion, like.
Yes.
Okay. How about conclusion? We make two people, one from you, one from me. Of course, yours will be more. Yours will be better because you have more facts to back it up, lah.
Yes.
Mine is just opinion.
So basically, what I could say is unification between two is possible. With the current trend, it's hardly happen right now. So what we can do is just and pray. Like that.
For me, I think unification is possible. There are side effects, but mostly with the other countries. But I think that especially during now this era, because of the pandemic, and because of the pandemic resources are low, the chances of them unifying is higher than compared to like few years back lah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, we.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Maybe next time we have this thing. Yeah, actually I call this series coffee time because like both of us are drinking in a cafe, talking about this topic, discussing, debating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next episode, don't know what we'll talk about yet. Do you have any ideas or want to think about it first?
Probably I will talk about the unknown operation that's supposedly to happen but never happened because something happened.
You know, I want to know about that, but okay, we'll keep it for next episode.
Yes.
Alright, so hopefully people watching this learn something today, learn the history, and the opinions. Please don't make a war in the comments or something. I mean, I don't think we have that much views, but if we do, please don't make a war in the comments.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Harith, uh,
Okay.
your goodbye.
Goodbye. My goodbye is Ololo and Tata.
And for me, my goodbye is Wololo as well. And my hellfire shall consume everything. Ooh, we. Okay, okay. For real, for real. I'm gonna end.